Hey, welcome to another episode of Enta Asks, where we tell epic stories about epic people in the businesses you want to work with.
So click below so you don't miss another episode, or if you want to be on the show, just check the link below. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Enta Asks. I'm Adam Colazetti.
And I'm Caitlin Bullock.
And we are super excited. Today we have Doc Cassama, who is a partner at DMA Global. Welcome.
Welcome, Doc.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam and Caitlin. It's a pleasure being here, and I'm happy to have you on home court.
We get to be home court. This is very exciting. And so DMA Global does what?
So DMA Global is a franchisor within the staffing industry.
Okay.
Right? And so, yeah, that's what we do for them.
And so you grew up, this is your dream, your ambition. Where did you start? How did you get here?
You know what? I grew up being an athlete for, a very, very long time.
Okay.
I actually grew up in Sweden. I left my blonde hair back there, but
it must have.
I've lived in Calgary now for over 10 years. This is not what I saw myself doing growing up, right?
Okay.
And to be very frank, May this year is actually our 1 year anniversary since we.
Ooh,
congratulations.
Thank you. So we bought the business just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And so we're just celebrating, right? And
so you bought the business kind of in a little rocky time.
Yeah.
You can call it that, right?
But what happened?
Yeah. I have a great partner in DMA Global, and again, the business had been successful for over 16 years before we bought it. Mm-hmm. But to say that I saw myself being in staffing would be, would not be true. And so, but here I am, and we like the business, we like the success of it. The previous founder, Bruno, had done a great job growing the company to a point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And where me and my partner Robert came in is, we saw the opportunity and we wanted to grow from, one franchise to many, not just in Canada, but also south of the border.
Wanted to and did.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when you evaluate a business, previous to the downturn, and then you take it over in the middle of it, right? All of those evaluations goes out the window.
Right.
Change in a day.
And so it's kind of, you take it over and it's, it's just a lot of reacting to what's happening in the world, right?
Right.
But we had a goal, and I have a great team, right? And again, the previous founder of the company, he's still involved, and I have my partner in Robert, but we wanted to grow it by additional franchises, in the middle of the world, kind of,
going crazy on us all here.
Right.
So what I'm really interested in is, the world changes overnight. You go from reactive, but then you got to become proactive, right?
Yeah. And that's when everything changed for us.
Okay.
Right? When we stopped being reactive and started being more, proactive and being more strategic.
Right. Okay.
And, I remember a shift there, and, for some reason I was in Mexico right before, during New Year,
right.
and I made that differentiation. I said, you know what, the whole world is reacting right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In order to stay in front and have a successful business right now, you have to, be strategic and you have to be proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I think for some reason the whole team shifted, and then I can tell you it was in January, but our whole target was, we need to continue to grow.
No matter what.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, and we've been able to do so. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And what a great 1 year anniversary story, right?
Yeah.
Love success stories.
Well, and you're in the staffing, right? So when you're growing, that means you're helping more people, right?
That's true. And so, again, I didn't come from this industry.
Yeah.
And so, when we bought this business, I had no idea what's going to happen. But I'm sure glad today that I'm in a business that is, if you can call it, more so recession-proof than other businesses.
Right.
And what I mean by that is, you'd hate to have a restaurant right now and being asked to close down, and you know,
I can't even imagine.
and scrambling. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
for those people, and we work with clients that are in the hospitality industry. But you know, what you know the staffing industry entails and what is provided for us is diversity.
Nice.
And what I mean by that is we have clients in different industries,
Right.
in IT, in engineering, in hospitality,
Right.
you know, in construction, right? And we provide payroll services as well as contract services.
Okay.
And you know that is what has allowed us. And I say this, as long as people are in need of staff and hiring, and the world is not ending, then we have work to do, right?
Right.
And that's amazing. And I like that you not only were you able to pivot into this proactive, because that's not easy. So many business owners live in the reactive. And then you're helping because you're helping the economy with staffing and placing really good people. But you're doing it from a franchisor perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So you're actually helping people take control of their future and own a business without necessarily taking on all of the parts of owning a business. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and that's parts of why, you know, people are, you know, attractive about our franchise program, but because it's not just, you know, helping to award a new business to a person who may or may not come from this industry, like myself. They may come from, you know, different backgrounds, and they do. But it's a matter of, you know, how do you help them succeed and their families, right, to get into not just the business, but a career, right?
Yeah.
And an asset that's going to change their whole future. So, you know, I spend all of my days talking to entrepreneurs and potential business owners.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, helping them see the opportunity of what this industry could provide, right?
Right.
But you're absolutely right. It's, you know, it's helping them with every step of the way, from the time you award it to the moment where, you know, they're having successful and revenues and adding staff to their business. And so you're doing everything, right? And so,
Well, that's, you know, the hard part.
That
You know,
is-
that's what we learned.
Oh.
Doing the work is not the hard part. The hard part is all the other stuff that has to get done.
right.
You know, the infrastructure behind that. So if you got someone there that can kind of help you out, like that's huge.
Yeah, and that's parts of it, right? You know, we have the proof of concept, right? That's why we became a franchisor.
Yeah.
We have the processes and systems in place to do so. And
You have access to some pretty awesome tools, actually.
yeah,
Right? That, like, starting off on your own all by yourself, if you want tools, if you want processes, if you want, you know, all that support behind you, guess who's doing it?
Yeah.
You, right?
that's
Find
correct.
it, learn it.
Find
Do
it,
it.
learn it, do it yourself,
Yeah.
grind it out, pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas joining with somebody like yourself and like DMA, where they've got your back, you got the best of both worlds, man. Right?
It's pretty amazing position, and I'll tell you a short story. One of our franchises, not going to disclose the name, but you know they had a job for most of their life, right? And they had, you know, they worked and, you know, they made a living at a different company, and both the husband and wife decided, you know what, we want to take a leap of faith and jump into a vehicle that's going to provide for our family and change our future and our family's futures. And so both of them kind of quit their jobs and jumped into this and invested everything. And that, I mean, that's scary, right? And
it's a leap of faith.
There's risk involved,
For sure.
right? But I love that story because they're betting on themselves,
Right?
right? And that's what I want to help people understand. At some point, you have to bet on yourself.
You should.
And there's so much going on in the world right now that you can't control, you can't change, you can't do anything. But here's an opportunity where you can control something.
Right? It's yours.
You can kind of take hold of your destiny, so to speak. Right?
Yeah. And that's what this episode is about, right? Take a hold of your destiny, right?
Yeah.
And so, and you know, it can be a very, very scary thing, but
you got a team of people helping you through that.
Right. If you can find the right people
Right.
to help you take that, you know, step of faith, right? And walk alongside you, that's kind of what we're about, right?
Right.
And,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great. So can you tell me then, you said, okay, I came from a different background and you jumped into this, not only the franchise business, but also the staffing business, right? Because you got to understand the both aspects of it, right? what kind of qualifications or background does somebody need to say, yeah, like I'm ready to take a hold of my future and jump into DMA Global? What would they need?
That's a really good question. And we have people that we've awarded franchise to that don't come from the staffing background, right?
Okay.
And majority of our franchisees actually don't come from that background, same as me, right? But you do need to have some level of understanding and desire to run a business, right? Having management experience, managing people. I mean, every business every business needs good managers, right? And so because you need to understand, we want our franchisees to benefit from the multiplication factor.
Right.
And in order to do that, you need to be able to manage talent, right? Structure your business. You need some business development experience, and being able to recruit the right talent.
Right.
But that's parts of our franchise training.
Right.
So that's why we're saying you don't have to come from this industry.
Right.
But there is some skill sets up front, and you need to have capital to run the business as well, right?
Yeah, naturally.
But as long as you have, the kind of the core skill sets that we look for, and you have the capital, a lot of the processes and how the industry works can be taught.
Right. That's amazing, and I know that you have a really robust training program.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
It's intense, yeah.
Yeah.
And intense but powerful, right? Like it's not like, oh, you go through, check a box for a training program. It is, you're practicing, you're in it, you're learning, and you're actually like applying the skills throughout the training when you have the training support, which is so cool, right? Because most people, it's like, watch this video,
right?
Do this checklist,
well,
and you're in.
If you've got a group of other franchisers, then you've got a network with which to engage with. Like, did that work? Did this work? Right? What's working for you? Hey, let's work together. Right? Like you've got that built in.
That's amazing.
Right? Exactly, and that's a part of it, right? Is you become a part of the bigger family, and all of our franchises collaborate, and we meet regularly, and we share information. What's working in Winnipeg? What's working in Vancouver or Regina? Right? Because if you're doing something that's working, I want to help, these other people share that, right? And so, yeah.
So what would you say is one false belief that, like, when you're talking to somebody about the franchise opportunities that you have, what is the biggest false belief that you have to kind of walk them through to get them to understand the power of what it is that you can bring to the table?
That's a very, very, very good question. And the reason why I say that, I just spoke to a candidate today.
Yeah.
And, he comes from the, hospitality industry, right? Which has been impacted significantly. And he's at a place where he's like, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
Am I going to stay in this industry, or am I going to go into something else? And, we want to encourage people and help them understand that your expertise can generate a lot of success for you in this business. So he was under the impression that, he had to learn how to recruit for IT, how to, understand the engineering business, which some of our other franchisees are in, right? And so explaining to people that, yes, you need to be able to master a certain industry, but you don't have to be a master of all of them.
Right.
Oh, so you can play still in your own sandbox, but maybe just from a different perspective.
Correct.
Right?
Use your expertise, use your background, right? And the industries that you can speak to and help that industry grow.
That's amazing.
Right? Yeah.
So you're kind of like preloaded for success because you're focusing and bringing your strengths. And I think there's probably a lot of transferable skills that come to the table, right? You talked about people management, time management, those soft skills like chatting with somebody, right? And
building relationships. Right.
That's fully transferable to this.
Yes.
Right? And so, especially in the hospitality, that's what it is all about. It's about relationships, whether you're dealing with supply chain, customers, whatever. Man, that's super powerful that you can bring that and you're preloaded for success.
That's exactly it. Leverage what you have and the background, the education that you have, and be an expert within your industry.
So we didn't touch on this, but you said that you're an athlete, before, previous life.
Previous life, yeah.
Okay.
Not 2 ACLs later.
Right.
You know, in a half an hour tennis and I'm
Nothing's,
done, right?
nothing's free, right?
So
Yeah.
How do you leverage your athletic background to what you do today?
discipline, right? To run a business takes discipline, right? You have to wake up every day, and there's some days you don't want to go to work, but it's your business,
You right?
right? How do you manage your time? How do you prioritize what's urgent, what's not urgent,
Right?
right? And how do you have the discipline and the consistency, right, to follow the same process?
Right. Sometimes you don't
Yeah.
want to get on the field, but you got to get on the field.
That's it. Yeah.
Love
All
it.
right. I love how you said that without any hesitation. That's it. No
Yeah.
questions. Right?
Yeah.
You got to want it. You got to want it, right?
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a big part in any business, right?
Mhm.
So
Well, and we experienced that, like being entrepreneurs ourselves and starting a business. You know, there was nobody there to like help us along the way. Like nobody said, "Hey, Caitlin and Adam, come do all this nice training, and here's
Yeah.
some tools and some processes to run your business." Like we had to grind it out from the start. So to be able to give people like this accelerator
Yeah.
Mhm.
to controlling their destiny is just huge.
and that's what they're paying for, right? They're paying for our expertise, our processes, and this 17 years of history
Right.
of running a successful business. But again, I've failed in my previous business, going into this. And so, but again, if you had somebody
To tell you.
to tell you what to do and hold your hand and how to avoid the mistakes, right? That you can avoid a lot of time and you'll save a lot of time and money,
Yeah.
right?
And that's
And heartache.
Yeah.
That is so great. Well, we really appreciate you talking to us and being on our show.
yeah. And how do people get a hold of you?
Well, DMAglobal.net,
Okay.
right? That's our main, and we do have our franchise website is DMAGlobalFranchise.com,
Okay.
right? So
We'll put the link in the description below, DMAGlobalFranchise.com. Did
Yeah.
I say that right? Okay. Put the link in. So if you're ready to take control of your future, right, with the success, the knowledge, the tools, and the support from somebody amazing like Dr. Cassama, click, talk to these guys. It's your destiny.
You never know.
Oh, can I get a mic drop?
That was so
Epic. Join us next time on Enta Asks.